Alright, so then I'm going to break down the order flow flip extreme entry. So last video I broke down the order flow flip criteria and all that, and how to trade like the generic trades like the POI is just targeted next point of liquidity. But there's also one other order flow flip type entry, which is it's pretty basic. I'll break down. There was an example actually I took on Monday. Yeah, GU. I took this trade live. I'll show you the MT4 screenshot after, but yeah, I took a nice win on GU Monday. Let me rewind it back. Monday. Get rid of all this. So it's pretty simple. It's following the same criteria as before, just as one little different. So again, GU obviously overall very bullish in this bearish leg, but taking all time low, flipped order flow bullish. More recently, taking out this last point liquidity in this leg, in this 4 hour leg. So after we take out this high, there's no liquidity in the leg until here. So it's like, with there being such a big gap between the 2 points, this kind of becomes quite a significant point, as there's no real buy side liquidity for quite some time. It's going to generate our own. So we take that, get our reaction as expected, push down, see all this sell side liquidity. This is the lowest point of this big rally up. This essentially messy price action to the upside. This is the lowest point of this whole kind of like swing leg. We sweep that, holds a lot of liquidity, take our sell side liquidity, then we flip on for bullish, and now we are above this high, looking bullish. But more recently, I've actually entered kind of a retracement phase on the 4 hour. Again, I don't usually use the retracement, the order flow flip rules on the 4 hour, but if you are, we have chalked swept, and what happened before the trade? So we swept, we were all looking bearish. We chalked, changed character. Again, very marginal range. It's not exactly a big break of structure, but it is a break of structure. Swept to the upside. I believe this was news, but we swept and a push back below. So we've swept buy side liquidity to then target sell side liquidity here, the next low. But what's happened here? We've taken the sell side and failed to close below it. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean, oh, we have to go bullish from here, but it means we could. So we're allowed to take an order flow flip trade if we do flip order flow in a 15-minute from this low to the next liquidity point. And again, if you just look on it's clear on the 15. If you look at the 4 hour, where is the next point liquidity? This is very far away and it's pretty strong high. I wouldn't want to, again, long in from here to here. It's doable, but again, it's quite low probable. We're probably gonna um, take a low. Again, it's quite early to tell. This is gonna be the low that actually is the continuation phase. That yeah, essentially the low of the next swing leg high that's going to take out this weak high. It's quite early to tell that. So where's the next point of liquidity? Well, there's only 2 points of liquidity in this leg. We've got the big wick, which is far away, and we've got this little flip zone. So we sweep sell side, and I drop to the 15-minute now. And I understand that I'm allowed to take a trade if we get a flip of 15-minute order flow, target the next major buy side point. Again, we sweep. We're just following the order flow flip criteria from the last video. Sweep, chalk, and then we sweep. Okay, let me replay it a bit more. A bit back, a bit more. Where was the entry? Take there. So we sweep, chalk, sweep, and then the origin of this push down. The whole again, we don't use the fractal origin, so this is not sweep boss. That's not a valid order flow flip. We need the full origin, so the move that the highest point of the move that caused the push down. It's actually this wiki here, but so we get our sweep and we get our boss following. So after we take this high, we have a valid order flow flip. Order flow is flipped bullish. And what's happened here, we have this point that I was previously talking about. So again, we have a trap in here, clean order block. That's kind of too clean. That holds quite a lot of people. We try to use this as a supply zone to get shorts out of. Therefore, when they do that, they'll have their stop losses above it. And I see that as a trap, a liquidity point to get swept. So again, I just further validate as a liquidity point, and also we push right up to this zone and move away. I see a lot of stacked liquidity here, so I want to take profit at this level if I do get a buy entry. So again, we pushed up. I was looking for potential buys here. That is valid. Again, gappy POI was 10 a.m. 10 p.m. sorry, of Sunday, market open of the week before. I was looking for a trade on the sweep of this. We didn't get it. No entry. And then this is where things get different from the last video. So with the order flow flip extreme entry, what the rule is. So sometimes sometimes the sweep. Don't get me wrong. This is a valid sweep. More than happy to use it for an order flow flip. But sometimes the sweep isn't exactly the most significant. Again, it doesn't mean I wouldn't use it for sales for buys, but but it's not exactly the most significant. It doesn't hold that much weight. So what we're allowed to do, we're allowed to take an entry from the extreme. So from the extreme of the order flow flip, so the actual sweep where we swept on the 4 hour, using the sweep boss, the low of the sweep boss as our liquidity. So that's essentially the model. So we can use the extreme of the sweep boss origin as liquidity to end off the extreme. So essentially what we can do, we can take a 5M model, from the sweep of the origin of the sweep boss, using that as our liquidity to fuel price the upside and continue the order flow flip. So again, it's quite confusing because you may think that that once we break below this sweep boss, the order flow flips over. But this is the point of invalidation. This low here, not here. We're allowed to take a sweep below here. Again, obviously, if order flow doesn't flip in the meantime, which it doesn't, we don't get there's no sweeps here. And so yeah, with that in mind, we drop to the 5. Get that, there's no gap here, not a valid shock. This is the last range, so the last essentially base drop before we take the liquidity. Valid order flow range. We then, I draw the line to here, not here, because we need a body close above our point for a valid shock. This is not a valid shock. This is. And then I was looking to set an original limit on the 0.5 here, which would have been better, but we get our chalk and it's liquidity right there. So I actually set it on this point, my limit. It's valid. Next point, sell side. This is my entry again, quite a big stop. Not the best RR, but it's valid. Our strike rate allows 1 to 2s. Like I said in my last video, all these 1 to 7s, 1 to 10s I'm showing, that's not my every trade. Most of my trades, I think my average trade is 4R. So that's obviously across I think 5 months of data collection. But so that's obviously accounting for a lot of 1 to 2s, and then we do catch the odd big trade. And then so that's my limit, 1 to 9.3, 1 to 1.9.3, sorry. And then we take this SAR limit here, targeting the liquidity pool that I previously mentioned, this high here. It took quite a while to take profit. Hit TP the next day. We messed about for here for a while. I thought it would finish at this point. Push to the downside, and then the next day we hit our take profit. Nice trade. Again, not the slimmest of stops. We would have got a nice end for the 0.5, but usually I do use the nearest point. So for example, say we have a 0.5 and and a sweep here, which we do, I use the highest up point, so the point closest to entry. Again, I could be more patient and take the the nicer entries, the larger retraces, but I don't know, a bit of extra R, I think it's about 3R to 0.5, and it's just not worth not getting tapped in for. So I took that, nice win. Oh shit, what's my trade journal? So this is 26th for 6th, which is Monday. It's Friday now. Only trade this week, been nothing the other days, and then nice little take profit. Yeah, quiet week. Nice